Hello paper crafters, I'm Sunny Sky and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I thought I'd show you several cards that I've made using a technique that we're going to do today. We did a card with this set last week in the previous video that I posted, but I thought I'd just do it again. This is using Blushing Bride. This one uses the Sweet Sugarplum cardstock, and we're featuring a couple of retiring items. This stamp set that is part of this is the Cake Crazy set, and that is retiring at the end of May. On a couple of these items, I used the Greetings from the Tin of Cards set, retiring in May. You'll notice the glimmer paper on these cakes, which really is the fun part that I want to show you today. This Blushing Bride color of the glimmer paper is retiring in May. And then we've used the word and the little tag topper here from the Cupcake Cutouts Framelits set. So we have this one and then the word here. So lots of retiring things that we just have to play with before we can't get them anymore. So I just thought I'd show you those today. So the fun thing we're doing with this card is taking the stamp set and the layers of the cake, and I'm going to stamp all of them, but then I'm going to cover up some of what I stamped with the glimmer paper. So I'm going to start with the widest option, then I'm going to put in a word layer here, and just going down, I've just chosen some of the different layers of the cake, and I just think this is a really fun set. Topsy-turvy cakes are everywhere online, and it's fun to be able to stamp with them as well. So this would be a great cake on its own, but we're going to create some of these layers with the glimmer paper. So if you take the glimmer paper and if you just flip it over on the back, and I'm going to use some Stays-On ink so that it'll dry more quickly. This is a glossy finish, and so it takes a little bit of time to dry at regular ink, so that's why I'm using some of this background ink. And I'm not really worried about how the impression comes out. My Stays-On pad is a little dried out right now. Can't see it totally, but I'm just using this as a guideline really. And I'm simply going to cut out those images that I stamped. And then we'll lay them right over top of the image on the card. One thing that you do want to be aware of when you do this is when you're stamping on the back side, it is a reverse image from what's on the front. So the angles are a little bit different. So you don't want to cut too close until you've really checked it on your cake, because if I cut right along the stamp, when you flip this over, it's gonna, if you reverse it a little bit, it might not line up quite right. You can also pop these up if you want, put some dimensionals behind them to just give it a little bit more dimension. Here, I'll cut this one close and we'll see if it lines up here. Now you see how that, because this is the bottom and this is the top of the stamp, because then it's like that. But when we flip it, you can see that it's a little bit more narrow and a little wider here. So in this case it is going to work, but you just do have to be careful of that when you're stamping, because you're stamping on the reverse side of what's going to show. You just have to be a little bit aware of the design there and any differences that might make. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is this banner from the Framelits die set, and it's built in with a couple of score lines so that you can just fold the banner back and create some dimensional. So what I did was I just took some of those foam strips and added that so it will be nice and sturdy. You could stamp on top of it. We could do the little word wish in this, like in this card where I cut out of the glimmer paper. On this one I did the whole cake in glimmer paper. This one I covered over, put the banner in place of one of those layers of the cake, and I also just cut a real thin layer of the glimmer paper to make my candle there. And then this one I just added some an embossing die to make the background with a little more texture, and just did part of the cake with the glimmer paper, which is similar kind of to what I've started there. So anyways, that's the project for today. Make sure that if you love this cake set or this greeting set, that you do take advantage of those items before the end of May when they will retire, as well as that glimmer paper. We still have the red and the dazzling diamonds and gold and silver in the catalog, so you can still have fun with glimmer paper even after May. But thanks for joining me, and go have some fun crafting!